Greetings, how's it going? And welcome again to another live where we talk about anything and everything around real estate. And we do this in Johannesburg, Cape Town, Pretoria. And today it is a Saturday evening, and we do what is called an open mic. Open mic is where you get to ask the questions. And today I am accompanied by my co-host, business partner, Rita. How's it going?
Hello, it's very cool to be here tonight.
Awesome stuff.
Anything better to do on a Saturday?
It is. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never been here before, what happens here is it is everything about real estate, passive income. We talk about it. And we talk about buying properties, and we hold them for rentals. And that's why we do this for that's why we call it passive income. And today we want to talk about something that's very key, especially for some of you who are doing this or wanting to do this as a passive income of sort. So we set aside this day as a Saturday, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and you get to ask all the questions that you want to ask. But we also have a bit of teaching that goes through with it. And today we're going to be talking about essentials tools. You know, we are living in the COVID world where there's essential workers and everything like that, but we're going to be talking about essential tools. So tools that you need actually for you to be successful in finding the good deals, not just finding them and then obviously also managing them. So we're going to walk here around something else that we call a deal calculator. And if you have never been exposed to a deal calculator, don't worry. We're going to talk about it a little bit in depth. But I thought that let Rita and I have this conversation because Rita does things differently, and there is no right or wrong in this. I do things in another way, and collectively, the two of us, you can also piggyback on what we do. So we'll start off with a deal calculator, and out of the deal calculator, we'll then go into a specific let's assume within that deal, what is it exactly needs to be put into that deal? And further to that, how do you calculate returns and all of that? And we'll take assumption of one particular deal. Is that good? Rita, what do you think there?
I hope people are awake on a Saturday night because, you know, numbers is always a hectic topic. But I'm sure everybody will be able to follow us. We're going to try and make it as simple and as clear as possible so that anybody can follow no matter what your skill and your experience levels are.
100%. I really like that. When I just want you to ask you a couple of questions before we jump into the deal calculator itself, because that's going to be our anchor for the essentials tools that one needs actually to find a good deal, manage it, and just make sure that it is profitable. You bought a couple of properties long before you found the deal calculator. Did you even think about utilizing a deal calculator at the time when you were buying your own properties? I mean, your first house that you bought that you're staying in?
No, I didn't even know that you should be doing that. I didn't know it existed. It was just like, oh, here's a pretty house, you know, let's buy it, let's live in it. Yeah, and I mean, I never actually even bought properties for the purpose of making money out of them in the investor sense of the way. Obviously, long term, you think, oh, I'll make some money, but not on a, you know, rental type of situation.
Awesome stuff. Okay, good. And I'm in the same boat exactly. You know, on my first property, I didn't know anything about a deal calculator. So we're going to jump into it, and we're going to go into presentation mode. I'm going to look here where we can find our right, and we're going to go there just now, and we will get through to see actually the deal calculator that we are going to be using tonight, right? And on there, I'm trusting, Rita, can you see it from your side?
I can see it, yeah.
Okay, stuff. So This is a deal calculator. Why would you want to utilize a deal calculator? And for some of you, you might not know what is a deal calculator, but basically whenever you're going into a deal, it is pre-populated here. Don't worry about it. We're going to go through everything that you need to do. But actually, maybe, Rita, before we actually start sharing all of these deal calculators, maybe let's come back to just talking about from when you are finding a property, because there's so many ways that you can find a property, right? I think let's just walk it through nicely in terms of you've got a deal that you're looking for, and some people actually don't even know how to get to that deal, right? So what are the tools that you need to have for you to get to a deal? I think we just jumped into the deal calculator thinking that, already people know where do they find the deals from, and that is wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, no, totally. And I think, sometimes we also overcomplicate it. And people, when they think about investment property, they're like, oh, I need to buy from an auction to have a good deal. Whereas that's not always true. And I think most of my really good deals actually came from the normal suspect places that everybody would go and look for a property. It's just, how do you look at that? How do you use that tool and look at things a little bit differently to find a good deal? And I mean, for that, first place I go always is the usual suspects: Property 24, private property, and a little bit of Gumtree as well, to do some nice searches for needs TLC or something like that. So those are always my first port of call. What is available in the area, and what can I expect when I go to a specific area? So those are the two basic ones that I look at. And then I also look at Sheriff HQ or greengazette.co.za for auction type of properties. But I must say I've hardly ever actually even used that. I mainly just go to the normal channels.
Okay, but what are those normal channels, right?
No, Property 24 and Private Property and Gumtree. Those three.
Okay, awesome. So what I did today is that so Rita goes through those channels with her, and we've got some similarities here. And the similarities that I want to hang on to is that Property 24. So when you're finding properties, there are all these other websites that are readily available. And these websites, you can literally jump in and you can start finding properties. But I want to speak to another group of people that will say, hey, we've been onto these websites, but actually we can't find properties. Like, how do you start, right? And I would like us to go. We're not being paid with Property 24 to actually, talk about their website today. We just like it because we find good deals there, right? But it's not about Property 24. It's also about the skill that we have now honed in, that now allows us to be able to identify good opportunities that come out of there. So in a bit, we're going to go through onto Property 24 now. But I also want to stress out the fact that the one basic essential skill, and this is essential skill number one that you probably need, you need to be able to find relationships, right? Rita and I, we've been finding relationships with particularly estate agents, right? Particularly with estate agents, because these guys here, they are well trained in terms of going out there to find opportunities. When people are wanting to sell their properties, who do they think about? They don't think about you and me as an investor. They think about going into the estate agents, isn't it? So the question that I want to ask of you, Rita, is where do you find estate agents?
On Property 24.
Yeah, on Property 24. That's correct.
Yeah.
And the basic way you can literally do it is that I created today on Property 24 sort of like my first. I'm gonna go through here. to my property 24, and you guys can see my property 24. Rita, you can see it?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Suppose it's coming. Give it a bit of a time. And now?
Nope.
Nope.
Are you clicking the right button over there?
Let's find out. Let's find out. Okay, screen share. We hit it. And going through to the application window. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're almost there. It is a Chrome website. Yes. And we hit property 24. And there we are. We're hitting share. Okay, good. I think it should be sharing now because it does indicate to me that I can stop sharing. Can you see it now?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, awesome stuff. So this is the website for Property 24. For many of you, you just go through and then you click on www.property24.com. And this is, you can see my credentials there. And normally, if I'm coming through in here, and I'm going to ask Rita, like the guys that are coming in now, I think this is where maybe we can ask the guys to be asking questions as well as we go along. So the first thing that we want to address is how do you find the estate agents, right? And if you're in the comments there, just give me a name of a suburb or of a town that we can start to go and look for some estate agents there. In the comments there, just drop us a name of a suburb or of an area, and we can already start looking for estate agents in that particular area. And I just want to make this something that is for you. Is there anyone there, Rita, that has given us a name?
No, I don't have a name over here.
Okay, we're still waiting for that, right? But whilst you're still typing away there, and this is what Pro 24 it looks like. You've got your for sale. So this is the tab, and it talks about properties that are on for sale. It talks about commercial properties that are on for sale. What is commercials? Is anything else other than residential? Someone asked me the other day, where do you get the repossession list? Do you get a list of properties that are repossessed? And here they are. Property 24, it's got a repossession list, right? And auctions, if you're one of those people that are looking for auctions, there you are. Properties that are going to be onshore, so you can actually go and physically see them. Developments for sale, right? And it goes on, right? Something that's also very important is property reports. We are going to jump into that. That's also one of the two. And I am going to go through now to, that's the first tab.
One submission here from Sal. Hi, Sal. Thank you. He says East Rand.
East Rand. Okay. So we're going to look for East Rand. And there goes through the 2 Rand. But we're not talking about 2 Rand today, but it's also another essential tool that we're going to come back to. But basically, these are all the other tabs. Calculators, we'll come to the calculators. These are also important. And there you are. That's my profile that I literally activated today. Something that's called favorites. I'm going to come back to it a little bit later. But let's look for East Rand. Okay, East Rand. Boom. There's East Rand. East Rand Gauteng. We put it in there, and it is under for sale. That's what we want. And we're going to leave this area kind of like open. We're just looking for estate agents, isn't it? So, but if we're looking for, let's assume that we are looking for a house, right? A house. I like looking for houses, freestanding houses. That's my thing, right? And let's just say up to around about 4 million. That's the max. And boom, it's already telling me that there's 7,000 properties. So behind this, let's just assume if there is one property, one estate agent, there is 7,000 estate agents. Okay, fine. If we say each estate agent's got 2 properties, that means that there's 3,000 estate agents that we can find, right? Okay, let's jump into it. We click search, and we're going to wait for it. And out of waiting for it, and there we are. Okay, there's some properties now. I'm just going to pick a random property that I think that maybe this might be a good one. Wow, some of them are like, this is really like a really nice property. Is it really for investment purposes? Not really, right? There's something there as well. And this looks like it's a new development areas. You can look at all of these that are coming up. Okay. So remember, we are looking for estate agents, right? So let's look at this property here. It is in Klopper Park, right? I'm just going to hit on it. And it is going to show me the actual property itself. I don't know any estate agents in the East Rand. And this time round, I am going to go here. It says contact agent, and I'm going to hit show contact number, right? Alert, right? And there is an estate agent called Aleta, right? There is the number. And in most cases, they might even have a cell phone number. There's their cell phone number here. I'm promoting Aleta. I don't even know who Aleta is. Okay. So you found one estate agent. So you put that in your bag. That's one estate agent, right? And then we go into another house. There's the one in Pomona. We're looking for estate agents to work with. Again, boom. Oh, Rosalind Nkosi. There, Rosalind's cell phone number is on here, and their landline number is on here. Okay, they've got a bit of a property. All right. Oh, Rosalind actually works for Palm Golding Properties. Okay. Now that I am getting along with Rosalind, what else can I do here? What are some of the other properties that she's selling? So I can jump in here and click on view all properties for sale with Rosalind, right? And these are all the other properties that she's selling. Now, Rita, I just want to stop here and come back to you to have a conversation quickly with you. When you find an estate agent like this, so you've just found them online, what do you do? What's your next couple of steps now? You like this area?
Well, I would definitely, if I like the agent, obviously get in contact with the agent, ask them about the area, and just get their view of what is on the market in the area, what's happening there. Is there something being built? Because they are the area experts. And I check especially where sometimes you'll find that, Pam Golding or even one of the smaller agents are actually dominating that area. And then you call them as well, right? So I try and pick it like that. And I'll call them and I'll find out what's happening in the area. What are they seeing? How quickly our property's selling? And you just have a conversation with them. And then the next step definitely is to explain to them what you're looking for. And I can almost guarantee you that 9 out of 10 times they're going to have something that you might not even have seen on Property 24 that will fit what you're looking for. And they will then take you and meet up with them. I think that's the other important thing. Talk to them and then go and meet with them. You really build rapport with that person, and you understand how the person works and whether you can work with them only once you really go out with them and see what they're showing you is actually what you describe. Because sometimes they'll take you to see a property and then it's nothing like what you said you're looking for. So you need to find that person that can understand what you're looking for, and only by going and looking at stuff that they are sort of identifying that fits what you want, only then will you really know, is this a person that I can work with long term?
So I'm going to do something a little bit ridiculous here. I'm hoping that it's going to show. So I've got a group, right, of estate agents. So my phone, I've got groups for everything, on my phone. And can you all see that?
Yeah.
Right. Can you see my number of estate agents there?
Oh, the light went off. The light went off of the phone.
Okay. Right.
What's
let's see.
Oh.
Okay. Let's try it again. There you go.
Let's see. 92.
I got 92 estate agents, but not all of them here have given me good deals. And not all of them, I've deleted some actually over the years. You know what I mean? And so, number one, not everyone is going to work with me. Number two, not everyone is going to understand me, even though they want to work with me. And number three, not everyone that is an estate agent who likes me and wants to work with me and understands me also have a deal at that particular time, right? And I mean, Rita, we're buying almost like what, a deal every other quarter. I mean, we have slowed down with COVID, but we are picking up now as well.
We are, definitely. And once you bought something from that person, they then know exactly what you're looking for, exactly how you work, how you operate, and they will find you more of the same. Copy and paste, just bring me more of the same. And then it really starts growing and it's picking up because they know you're a serious buyer. They know exactly what you want, and they will really go the extra mile for you.
Awesome stuff. So this is open mic, and we come out here every Saturday. And the point here of open mic is that you get to ask questions as we go along. We've had open mics for the last couple of weeks, and all of these videos are here. And if you have any questions as we go along. Today, we are talking about essential tools that you need to make good deals. And we've just finished now talking about an estate agent. How do you find estate agent? And we found the one website that really works for both me and Rita. Rita spoke about a couple of ones, and I just gravitated onto one that I like, which is the Property 24. They're not paying us for promoting their website. We just like it because it brings good deals to us. I'm going to go back to Property 24, but this time round.
Question here, so I'm going to interrupt you. So there's some interesting questions coming through.
Yeah.
One that says, are there special estate agents that work with investment properties?
I have found that it's a yes or no answer for me, and Rita, you can also answer that question. I think the traditional estate agents, there are very few, and I want to say very few. And I'm talking about maybe 1 in 1,000 or even 1 in 10,000 that really understand how to work with an investor. But I've been fortunate that actually, you know what? It is 3 in 100. And do you know why I get to 3 into 100?
Because out of your list of 92, there's 3 that you work with, that you bought from.
That's it. Yeah. So out of the 100 that I've got, I mean, some other estate agent, I think I probably have like close to 150 estate agents. Because some I miss, by the time I started logging in some of my estate agents, the group was not there. I didn't start thinking like that, systemizing my stuff. But the reality is that for every 100, kind of like, I found 3. But all of those 3, 2 are really like good working horses, if I may call them that. I know that some people might not like me calling estate agent working horses, but that's what they are. They bring in good deals to me. So out of the 3, they understand very, very well what I do. But I had actually to spend time with them, educating them what I'm looking for and why I wouldn't buy this one. Like today, I was talking to one of my estate agents and I was telling him of a deal that I want to do that he presented to me. And I spoke about a covering bond. And he said to me, what is a covering bond? And I would think an estate agent would know that. But it's also about you educating and engaging your estate agent. Rita, I don't know if you want to answer that one differently as well.
Definitely. I think there's a few of them that kind of understand what you're looking for and so on. There's a person in Cape Town that I bought 3 properties from her, right? Yet she will still send me stuff that doesn't fit what I want, But it's fine. I'm at least now able to quickly scan through what she sends me, and I'm like, no, 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 yes. So, oh, excuse me. So that's even though they might not give you exactly and only what you're looking for, that could actually still work by just being a good active agent in the area. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. We'll give you a small break there. Okay, cool. So whilst Reza is just clearing a thought, let's just make sure. Is that Corona? That I hope that's saying Corona, but that's all right. If you go Corona, you're Corona at your house.
Yeah, on the TV screen, that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So essential two number one is find a way in which you can find a relationship with people in general. That's essential two number one. Essential two number two is find estate agents. It's actually a skill to actually find estate agents that you can work with. And by the way, estate agents are not the only people but find estate agents that can actually work for you, right? Traditionally, estate agents would work for the seller, but in this time, we're flipping it around. We're saying that go and find the properties that I like. I'm going to buy them anyway. I'm ready, right? And you don't pay them. They get paid with the buyer, but they're working for you. I mean, that's the holy grail of real estate there, isn't it? Yeah.
Totally. I totally agree on that. And I mean, if once you have that person and they're working for you, I mean, this lady that I work with in Cape Town, she's so amazing because whenever I'm not happy with something, right? I'm like, yeah, but I don't understand this. I don't want to do that. She's like a bulldog on that seller. She will make him do what I need him to do and agree to what I need him to agree. And she doesn't take no for an answer. And she'll find ways to get around whatever challenges is in the deal to make it work for me, because she knows that seller, yes, he might pay her, but he's busy dating 3 other estate agents, right? But she knows I'm a good buyer that will buy, and she's going to get money basically from me, even though it's the seller paying it, but it's due to me buying that she can get it from him. So therefore, she's really she goes out of her way to make it a deal work for me. She won't say, okay, well, you can do this, you can do that, and all that, but I need to say that. I need to say, I want this, 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 but she makes it happen, and fast as well. She won't let go. She doesn't give up on anything. She will make it work.
Yeah. So Rita, let's jump in now. So you've got the relationship, you found the estate agent, and now they've brought you a deal, right? And I'm gonna go back to Property 24. My dear friend, Property 24, you are here again. And this time round, now you've got this property here, and we just note that Palm Golding is giving us we've never bought anything from Palm Golding, have we? Nah.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, nah, okay. Right. So let's just assume that we found a deal in Pomona here, and it was this lady here, the estate agents that we were talking to. I don't remember what's her name, Rosaline, right? And it was Rosaline who just introduced us to this deal, and we like it. Or there is the street name of that particular property. Rita, you've got a certain skill that you enjoy to check out here on Property 24 around recent sales in and around Pomona. You want to talk about this section here?
Yeah, that's like my favorite thing to go and look at. And for the guys that's watching, I actually did a whole 20-minute video just on that. So you're welcome to go and find it on the YouTube channel. But that is, I love to go there and to check what was this actual sold prices of similar properties in the area. and to make sure that I'm not overpaying. And I think also there's lots of other tools as well, that's paid tools that you can use. You can use TPN, you can do Lightstone, and it can get very, very technical. But as a first step, even though it's only 28 Rand, 75 cents, but even though it's not expensive to do, I just like to first, before I do that effort and go through that process, to just quickly look at what is in the area, what is selling in that specific area, and how much is it selling for. And I mean, it's very simple. You can literally click on that link and it will take you to the analysis of the area and the actual, and not what it was marketed for, because what you see as advertised, they might advertise something for 2 million, but it actually only sells and it transfers for 1.5 million. So that's why that sold prices is so important, because it'll give you a very different view from what is being advertised versus what is actually happening and what our property is actually selling for.
Yeah. So what I've just done here, Rita, you speak of other tools that you can utilize. So on Property 24, it just gives you a little bit of a snippet, but you can actually zoom in onto a particular property. And I decided this is the one property that we recently bought, and that's why I've pulled this one. And
now that you have that picture there, I also want to add the first thing that I actually do, even before I get in my car to go and look at anything, is I just go onto Google Maps, I Google the address, I drop the little man, and I walk up and down in the street with my little Google Maps, Google Earth, or whatever. That's the very first thing that I do, and then I go and do the report.
Awesome stuff. Right. So let's talk about property. This is Lightstone. We subscribe to this. They don't pay us for talking about this. So this is not a review for them getting paid to us. We just like them because we utilize them. It's a tool that we use. Remember, we're talking about essential tools here. What does this gives you? It gives you the property details, right? What is it exactly? I've seen people that get an address for people and they can't get to the place. Coordinates, right here. You can just click on it, Street View, it takes you into Google. Rita, we just bought this property like recently. It gives you also, when was this property here? When was it last? What was the last sold price for it? So the current owner who bought this property, they bought this property in 2004 for 545. So boom, you have that. You got the actual land size there, and this is exactly where it is. This property, you're going to love it. It's a like proper dump, but we're not buying it for the dump. There's some exciting stuff that's going to come out of there.
I wanted to say, you see, it's our property because it is a dump.
Yeah, we can name it whatever we want. Property 20, Lightstone then gives you an average of roundabout of 20 properties, right? So it takes a whole bunch of properties within that area. I'm not so sure what is the radius that they take, what is the maximum. But here you can see here 736 meters away from the property that you're looking for. In this case, that's the distance from that property. Then they take in all of these properties on the last sale price, all of it. But this is all recent. Look at that, 2019. I'm sure there's a 2020 somewhere here. Not even. So there were no transactions for 2020 on here. But bearing in mind, I also pulled this report here in 2019. Yeah, so I put this last year when we were buying this property. Now, out of that, it then gives you a comparable. What is the price for that property here? And then it gives you a 1.3 kind of like, right? The municipal evaluations and all of those things, estimated municipal monthly rates and taxes for that property. Just need to double check with the sellers or with the estate agent. And is there a bond in this property? Yes, there is a bond there. It tells you which bank it is and all of that. And the beauty, why I like to utilize TP Lightstone is that I get actually to manipulate the data as and when I am working around it. So, for instance, if I know the street and I see, like, for instance, here, the first property here, if it is like a slightly bigger property, you see this one here is 1,280, so it's a very much like for like, isn't it? Right? So I'm going to take that. Okay, that's good. That's good. So all of these property in terms of sizes, they are all like for like, you know, they're not too far away. But now I'm also starting to have smaller ones. But then I might also want to come back. I might know that one property, this property might have sold for like 3 million for argument reasons, but it's a 6-bedroom here, right? So for that reason, I'm going to take this property away because it's queuing my data, right? It's not a like for like. But I can only know that if I know the area that I'm investing in, or I know the area that I'm walking in. One easy way that you can actually know, and this skill here that I'm going to tell you here, a lot of you might be thinking, TJ, this kind of like very old school. It's called walk the streets. So you literally walk in that street and you can see that house there looks like it's a 10 bedroom house than the house that you're looking at, which is like so tiny. So obviously from a rand value, you can now assess and you can go through into Lightstone and you can take it off. And that's kind of like tool number 5, right? If I'm counting, but I'm going to stop counting because I'm going to confuse myself as I count. But that's another essential tool that you need. Rita, now that we've got the Lightstone, right? And we said that we want actually to make sure that whatever we are doing, we're walking through on our deal calculator, right? So the market price, can you see my screen here on my Excel? So, so the market price now on that particular property, maybe the estate agent, that property market price was around about 1.3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so on here, this is where we're going to put our 1.3 because that's the market value that there is, all right? The purchase price, we'll come back to it a little bit later, and I can make an assumption that maybe let's put in, let's say, 800,000. So this is for me. Now, what is equity obtained? Equity obtained is the difference between these two, right? And you can see my purchase price is pulling there from the top, and I am going to be looking for a loan and of around about 800,000. That's what I'm wanting to get. So that's 100% bond, so that I do not have a deposit on it. So where do I get the market price from? From the Lightstone report, right? That's where I get it from. And then I come on here, right? And this now I'm populating that. Then there's what they call bond transfers and duty. There is a website that is called uber.co.za. But seeing that we have been working on property 24, can we go back to property 24 maybe? Does it still show, what do you call that? Does it still show how to calculate transfer fees and things like that? Have you used property 24 for that?
It's actually very funny. I've never used property 24 for it, but yeah, I mean the calculations are the same anyway, so it doesn't really matter which one you use.
Right. Can you see my property 24 site?
Yeah.
Okay, I've never actually used it before, but let's give it a shot. Right, purchase price, there we are, 800,000. Okay, and the loan is 800,000. There's now a little bit of a triangle error whilst we have, and okay, it's pulling it together. Okay, that's great. So it's taking my purchase price, it's taking my loan here, and it's telling me that my total bond and transfer is 48,000. Okay, how is it broken? It's broken into board registration and the transfer there, and boom, that's what it. So I like to take round figures. So I'm going to take my 48,000 here, and I'm going to make it 49,000. So I'm going to go back to my spreadsheet, all right? And I'm going to populate it now on 49,000 on this particular property here. Okay. For budgeting purposes, let's just call it 50 for ease of mathematics, right? So we're just going to say property 24, property 24. That's where I got that from. Okay. And we're not going to worry about that sourcing thing here. It's a conversation for another day. If you're wanting to do sourcing as a business or whatnot, we can talk that about another day. Now, whilst I'm on this property here, maybe there could be some renovations that I need to do on this property. I'm going to take in 100,000. It's just an assumption, but I need to take my builder onto that property, and that's where I am going to get that 100,000. So it's my builder. So now you can see it's calculating there my buying costs. This is the 150,000. If I had put this on 80%, let's assume, you see there's a deposit of 160. And you can see there my buying cost, and that is going to come up to my total cash in the deal. But for this exercise, let's make it 100%. Okay. Now, we did speak about rates and taxes. We did see it on Lightstone. You remember that? What was the number there for Lightstone, Rita? Do you remember?
I think it was 784, if I remember correctly.
784 will make it 800. Insurance on a property like that one, let's peg it on 300, and there we are. So now we've got 300 and 800. These are kind of like our holding costs, and got a bond there. And now if this property is for rental purposes, right? Rental purposes, right? Let's just assume that this property here, we just work on this property here. So the property is got a main house, right? Let's say it's got a main house. We're doing this for, and it's renting out for 10,000 Rand. And I'm going to take you guys to another tool that we like to utilize. So it's 10,000 Rand, and it's one day. And let's assume it's got 2 cottages, right? 2 cottages. This is assumptions because we haven't been to the property. So it's got 2 cottages, and let's say one cottage is 5,000 and another one is 4,500. It's one day and it's one day. So all in total, I can actually bank around about 20,000 Rand. At the moment, interest rates is round about sitting at 7% prime. So this is prime plus 1 on 20 years. We're talking about 6,600. You can see the rates and taxes is what we populated on the top there. Insurance.
Bond repayment, you can maybe just go to Property 24 as well and use the calculator there, because not everybody will know the formula to put in.
100%. Okay. So we're going to go to Property 24 again. And out of that, we're going to say, hey, where is my Property 24? So Property 24 is kind of like a one-stop shop, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm sure these calculators sneaked in here after I started using it the first time.
Is 800,000, 0 deposit. This is showing you prime, you see, prime interest rate, which is 7%. We are assuming that you might get like an 8%. It's a 20-year loan, and there you are at 6,691, which is very close to what we were showing on the other side, right? So with that, I want to go back to our spreadsheet, and now there you are, 6691. That's a prime plus 1. A lot of people get a prime plus 1 plus 2, but you know your affairs with your bond originator and beforehand, so you can populate that on your own. If you are managing this property with someone else, obviously a management fee, you will ask your estate agent upfront. It's generally anything from 6 to 10%. and that's what you're going to be paying for your property manager. The void in the area, I'm gonna jump into another tool now that we like to utilize. So if this was a real property, we could be making some good money here. It's got a return on investment or cash on cash of around about 54%, right? Which is good, right? I think I'm gonna stop here. And Rita, I want us to go through, let's jump on to another tool, right? So there's the deal calculator, but now let's speak about the other tool, the TPN tool, especially the investor pack. What's your thoughts around that?
Oh, that is like my favorite tool of them all, really. I love to get the investors report from TPN, which gives you all the rental amounts in the area. And it goes into such a lot of detail, and you can see whether people are going to pay, how much are they going to pay, because it's always a tricky situation when you want to rent a place out and you don't know what to charge for. You don't want to undercharge because then you're losing out. You don't want to overcharge because your place is going to be empty. What are the type of tenants that you're going to get? Are they going to pay? What's the chances of them actually paying? All of that you can get in your TPN investors report. And this thing is the awesomest part of it all is it's literally 28 rands. If you're not signed up or a member with them or anything, it's 28 rand 75 the last time I used it, which was less than a week ago. So this is my first port of call whenever I'm renting in an area where I haven't rented before, even if it's just a neighboring suburb. I pull up this thing and I just double check and make sure that my rentals are real. And I'm not thinking, oh, but my place is going to be so beautiful, I can get 10,000. But actually, the most you can get in that area is 5,000. So it's just a reality check for yourself. I love this report. Absolutely love it.
Awesome stuff. Whilst we are still going,
saying this.
say that again.
I think I must get. I must talk to Michelle. They must start paying me for saying these things.
Yeah.
I'm promoting it everywhere I go for free.
But it is a good tool, right? But Rita, I want to speak here about something else. Not everyone is really a property investor, right? For some people, this is gibberish for them. But I always say that, if you're interested in property and you actually don't want to do it, you can invest alongside people like us. At a minimum of 100,000, you can get nothing less of 14% by investing with us. But today we're not talking about investments. We just drop it in there because for some people they're like getting scared already. Like, what? This sounds like a lot of work, but you want to be in the property space. You can still invest with other people. I want to jump into this property investor report. We like investing in Boksburg, and this is also in the East Rand kind of like areas. East Rand is not far away from here. And this is a report for the area. So you can choose a suburb, you can choose a city, a town, a province. I think they can go all the way to a country, right? And obviously it gives you the selected area that you have chosen. That's what Boksburg looked like. It looks like Italy, isn't it?
It looks like a scorpion almost. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead, right? What kind of properties are in these areas? As an investor, you're looking into this area like, okay, so what type of areas? There's about 50%, 51% of freeholding properties. So I like freeholding properties, and there's quite a big number of informal housing. This could be informal settlement. It could be anything other than, proper properties. So what is it? You might want to visit this place, obviously, because this is quite a big number of informal, and this is also quite a big number of other. What is other, right? For you to be comfortable with that area. Okay. Coming down here, I also like this. I generally want to look at this here. Property owned and paid off. 20% of the properties in this area are paid off. So if I'm talking to these people and I'm an investor and I'm talking directly to the seller, these people have paid off their houses. So I don't have Big Brother to be thinking about, another bank or something like that. I'm talking to them so they can make a decision on their houses. And that's 11,000 houses. That's amazing there, right? Okay. Now, property sizes in this area, again, it gives you matrices of that. Household sizes, it gives you that as well. I'm just going to fly through all of this, but draw up a property investor report for whatever area that you want to jump into. Right? What's the demographics in this area? There's more black people, white people, other. I wonder what is other. What is other, Edgar?
I think it might be foreign nationals or something. I'm not
Really?
sure. Yeah.
Okay. What is unspecified?
Where people didn't tick the box, I don't know.
Okay. But the good thing is that unspecified, whether they're aliens or not, we don't know. But there's a 0% of other, which is good in this area here. But you can see so you can see the demographics of the peoples in the language in the area and the type of education. What kind of people are you dealing with that are staying there? Are they educated or not that educated? I like to say that the more people are educated, the more you can reason with them. You know what I mean? So I generally look at that as well. That's very important to me. Household age, that's also good for me because I want to see where's the strongest people, right? In this here, we can see there's a big number of people between the age of 26 all the way to around about 50. So these are working class people or should be working class people. Let's go on to employment statuses. How many of these people are actually employed, right? Okay, there we are, right? How many people of these are employed? Discouraged work seekers, there's like a 1.5 of that, right? Too old, unemployed people, there's a 40% unemployed. Oh, sorry, so there's a 40% of people employed, right? And 12% are unemployed. So this is kind of like a good neighborhood here in Boksburg, actually. People work, right? Okay, good. Annual household income. This is my favorite because this starts now driving in how much you can actually charge. If you know the people, how much they're earning, you can actually be able to translate this into how much they are able to spend on housing, right? So you can't be banking in, like, if you look at this graph here, look at that, right? This is annual incomes, by the way, it's not monthly, right? So if people are earning this much, how much are you going to, what are your property brackets should be? I mean, these are some of the things that you need to be looking out for. Now, property transactions, these are the amount of properties that are selling. This is a booming area. You can see that. There you go. Right? You can see that. People that are investing in this area, properties for investments, there was a big jump here in the 2005, 6, all the way to 10, right? It's kind of like almost going into a straight line. Rental index. So this is our bread and butter. You want to jump into here, Rita?
Yeah. So what happens is that you as a landlord or the rental agent can actually go and submit payment data of your tenants into TPN, the credit bureau. And they use that information to complete these reports over here. So this is data that actually comes from landlords of people renting out properties. And what makes it interesting is that you want to know how many people are actually paying or not paying in the area. So you want to check paid on time versus your partial payment. The red is did not pay. The can you zoom in a little bit? My eyes, I don't have my glasses with me. Right. Paid on time, in the grace period, or paid late. Those things are all green because at least they did pay a partial payment. It's not good, but you'll see there that that is not actually such a huge percentage. So obviously in 2020 it dropped, I think, all over the country. And there's actually, if you go down, there is a graph that actually, there it is. So the town is on 85%, okay, of people in good standing. What does that mean? Paid on time, grace period, or paid late, but you did get your money. It's 85%. National, meaning for the whole country, it's only at 80%, which goes back to what TJ said in the beginning, is that people are working in this area. And they're obviously with good jobs there that's still paying them, even during lockdown or whatever issues we had in 2020. And they are still paying better than your national average. So this is still a very good area for rentals for people to invest in.
100%. I think what I like about this graph here, or should I say these numbers here, is that for the area it's saying, people that are no paying is 5%. So if you jump in onto your Excel spreadsheet where it says void, instead of putting in like a thumb sucking percentage, 7, 9, for this area, you're putting a 5 because that's what the reports are saying, right? But for the whole of Gauteng, we're sitting around about a 10%, and at the national, we're sitting about at 8. Now, if we continue looking on here, what's now important is rental now, right? And you now have your 2-bed, 1-bath, or whatever it is. Maybe let's jump on here. So what was the market low and what was the market high? There you are, of a 2-bed. So if you're already planning that you're going to be getting 5.5, are you in the average or are you 2 out? I would say you kind of like in the average. Make sense, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right? For a 2-bed, if we jump on, there's another 2-bed there, right? 3 beds, right? The market low. This looks like now houses, right? So the market low is like 2,150. I don't know what kind of a 3-bed is this one, right? But it jumps all the way to 10,500, and this is where you get your stats from. There you are, all the way to 20,000. But now you might also want to just double check all of this based on this is Boksburg. And in Boksburg, there's Boksburg South, Boksburg North, Boksburg Central. You might want actually to zoom in. And for me, this is the other one tool that I really like, that I think that any investor should be having this. It's like, this is like primary. You must not be having, even if you have properties and you haven't done this exercise, you should be. You can jump onto it and you can double check to see whether you're on the money or you're not on the money. Are you, in what the market is doing or not? Rita, we have come to 9 o'clock. I think maybe we can go in another 5 minutes, but particularly going into answering some questions. Is that all good?
Yeah, perfect.
Awesome stuff. Once you're jumping onto the questions there, Rita, I'm going to try to wrap up now and say, this is kind of like the essential tools that one actually needs for us to get through to good deals, right? And if you're following this, and this is actually something that, I want to do this, but I actually don't know how to do this. In the comments of the video, we're going to give you, and this is a special for this month, and you're saying you want to learn how to do it. We've put a course together, and that course is literally going to be 5,909, not 5,997. it's going to be for 597 for the month of November, right? We are midway through, and you can literally buy that course. It normally is for 5,997, but we're giving it to you at a 90% discount, you know. And the spreadsheet that we were working on there, you also get it for free in there. You want to take away all the questions in there?
I wanted to just quickly drop the link. Okay, here's one. On TPN, are these fixed rentals? Can you increase or decrease your rent, or should you always follow what's on TPN?
Okay, so this is how I'm going to answer that question, right? What you're seeing in TPN is exactly what is happening in the area. So these are fellow investors like you and me. So we've got a business that's called Frostpeak, and all of our 200 tenants plus, we log in how much money we're getting from our tenants, how much money we're charging, and there's other thousands and thousands of other property investors that are also populating the data. So for that reason, it's not really fixed. I mean, you could see that it was starting from around about 2,000 all the way to around about 20,000. So you need to look at your property, like where is it, right? Number one, your area. Sometimes rental can be just about your own street, right? And sometimes it can be about the neighborhood where you're in, you know, that small section of that suburb. It could be in the 20,000s, but actually across the road, it's 5,000. So they're not fixed, but it's an indication of what others are also charging. And as an investor also, my view is that you also have an obligation to populate that data so that it can also inform the entire community like us as well.
And I also want to to confirm what is on TPN. You want to make sure, is your place actually comparable to what is actually out there in TPN? So what you do, you go back to Property 24 again, but this time you go on to rent, and you look at properties that are available to rent. And what you can actually do, you'll see whatever they've advertised on there. People generally don't negotiate that hard on rentals, so that's a little bit closer as well. But what you can do is you can go and call those agents and say to them that you are looking for a place to rent. And then you go and you look at that place and you can see what is it that they're asking, why are they charging the rent that they're charging. They might charge, so you know from TPN now that an average is 5,000 for a 2-bed. Why are these guys asking 8,000? All right, so you can maybe go and view that place as a tenant and see, oh, okay, but it's because this is the only place where you can actually get a garage and there's a pool in the complex, etc., etc. So there's additional things. And you can then adjust your price according to what is actually available in the market at that point in time. If you see that, oh, everybody's places are so fancy and you know that you only have the basics, you don't want to make it spend that much capital right now, maybe you drop your price a little bit. Just adjust it to get more demand for your area. So that's a sneaky thing I always do as well, especially if I go into a new area, is that I'm always a tenant going and looking for a place to rent.
Awesome stuff. I like that. Yeah, so there's many tricks and tips, you know. So Rita, I'd like to thank you for coming through and gracing us with your period for this time that we have spent together, you know, just talking about being on open mic, you know, having the people actually asking questions. Those that have asked questions, thank you, well done. And for those of you who are going to watch this as a recording, that's great too. And if you do have questions, you can still ask them in the comments and we will jump on to it. Any closing comments there, Rita, from your side before we close off for the night? I got some wine waiting for me.
Come, give me a Zoom 5.
Yeah. Oh, no, the other way.
Other side.
High five.
We need to get that.
Oh, yeah. I figured it out. Yeah. Cool. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your evening, and if there's anything else, I think if it wasn't really for education, none of Rita and I would not be here. Actually, Rita and I, we actually met in a classroom, and the business have been given birth out of the classroom learning, and we haven't stopped learning. We're continuously learning, and we enjoy what we're doing now. And if there's something that is for you, number one, subscribe to this channel so that you can always get the info. And thanks for those that were engaging right now with us. And until we meet again, good night and God bless. Goodbye.